We're going to start this week with a game called Who Am I? This is something that I discovered at the Blackpool Magic Convention about a month ago, and this was one of the things that I found by a designer called Sebastian Konopix. Sebastian is a graphic designer and also a fan of magic, and what he's decided to do is to create pieces of artwork, as you can see, for lots of different very well-known magicians. They're either iconic for their particular appearance or maybe the particular act that they do. So here's the game. I'm going to show you 4 of these pieces of art this week as a little way of plugging Sebastian's artworks. I think it's fantastic. I think you should all go and check it out. If you think you know who the magician is, then stick a comment below, but no cheating. So you're not allowed to look at the comments before you have a guess yourself. So here we go. Number 1. Have a good look. Number 2, it's an easy one. Number 3, and a little bit harder. Number 4. So, speaking of Blackpool, let's roll film. Oh, look at that. So you guys are all on film, we're all off to Blackpool. Woo!
Not happy.
So this week we are talking about magic conventions, and don't worry if you think I'm just teasing you with some of Brendan's magic. You are going to get to see that a little bit later on, but that's enough of Brendan for now. A question I get asked a lot is, how do you learn new magic? Where do you learn? And one place is books. One second. So here we go. This, not a magic book, but these are magic books. One answer to that question is to go to a magic convention. If you are a hobbyist or an amateur magician, you've never been to a convention, I'd really recommend checking one out. If you're in the UK, then I'd recommend either the Session Convention in January or the Blackpool Convention in February. They're very different to each other. The Session has about 600 delegates, whereas Blackpool has somewhere in the region of 5,000 people. And there's so many different ways that you can learn magic at a convention like Blackpool. There are lectures that you can go to every day and sit and learn from some of the best performers in the world. Or if you'd prefer to go and buy the magic that you want to learn, there is a huge hall where there are about 130 different shops that you can buy from. Although in the magic community they are known as dealers, which, when you think about how addictive it is buying new magic, kind of makes a lot more sense.
Christian Grace, and this is my creation level 1. Don't blink, watch the pack. If I shake like this, half the cards have vanished, but they don't go far, they travel into the pocket. That leaves me with 1 card here.
Probably the biggest highlight of my weekend at Blackpool was learning from shows. I didn't go to that many lectures, but I did go to a lot of shows, and there's so many performers to learn from, people who are at the top of the profession and people who have spent a huge amount of time honing and crafting their act. So just to mention a few, because there were a lot. Patrick Lenhan, who was performing at Blackpool in one of the gala shows this year, amazing creative mind in magic, who brings his own expertise, his own professional expertise from outside the world of magic into his creativity. Charlie Fry and company. Charlie's not a magician, I don't think, but he does a juggling act, and it was just a real lesson in storytelling, I think, from start to finish, how he interacts on stage with the character who's his wife, I believe, and really fantastic thing to watch. Derek Scott, single guy on a stage with an audience of several thousand people with a kazoo commanding their attention. Pretty cool. A guy called Miguel Munoz, I've not seen before, but his act was exceptional. There are some pieces of magic that are funny, there are some pieces of magic that show off the skill and proficiency of the performer, and there are some that you just get so enraptured with because they are a beautiful piece of theatre, and I think his act with water has to fit into that category. His act really reminded me of Kim Young-min's act. He's a Korean magician that I saw a couple of years ago. There's this amazing act with sand. And it got me thinking, if those two teamed up and they could find another magician who does fire magic and someone who does wind magic, so you've got like water, earth, wind and fire, that is one awesome, that's like the new Avatar right there. But then if they could get a 5th magician who does heart magic, maybe like Kayla Drescher, then they could form the new Planeteers and summon Captain Planet. Yeah, I'm really showing my age here. One last person to mention is a guy called Tom Crosby. He wasn't performing in a gala show, he was performing his own one-man show, Tom Crosby Performing Nerd. If you've not seen him before, go and watch his show. You can see him on YouTube, I'm sure, but go and watch his show. He'll be at the Fringe Festival this year. I think he tours and does shows across the country, but his show was just a real lesson in just being a lovely person on stage, being charming, and someone who's really put thought, and you can really see the graft that he's put into the story of his act from start to finish, and it's one cohesive show. It's not just tricks, it is a real special thing to watch. So Tom Crosby, well done mate, good stuff. One particular highlight was bumping into a very good friend I haven't seen in about 10 years. His name is Matt McFall, and I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Matt McFall, Agent of Wonder. What a cool name. I don't think I've ever met anybody who has given so much consideration to space and how we use space and how we create curiosity. That's really inspired me actually to think about the shows that I create and the magic that I perform, and how from the very beginning, from the get-go, people are drawn in and intrigued and curiosity is piqued. So I'm going to go away and think more about that. In fact, that's probably going to be another video episode just all by itself. So the last thing to say from me really is that I'm looking forward to the future. I'm really hoping to be working with Matt a lot more in the future, so who knows what that will entail, but I'm excited. I'm inspired to go away and create. I've got a few events in the pipeline. This is the latest thing that I'm working on at the moment. This is a rebrand and a relaunch of an event I've already been running, And it's a monthly event. It's a night of cabaret. It's a night of celebration to celebrate magic and performing arts, to give new performers and experienced performers a chance to try out new material in a really relaxed venue. You're going to see some of this in upcoming videos very, very soon. And I think this is probably just the start of a few other ventures, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon.